Out on the roof, sipping 90 proof and eating like the old food.
Close for you to Tupac.
I did a lot of shows with Pac. I went on a road with him. Like I said, we did the movie. We did a couple of tours. We were pretty cool. I've never had one fucked up incident when I was around Pac. So I've always had good experiences. We would smoke together. We would ride in the same limo together to concerts. We had a lot of concerts together. So he was always cool to me. I know people might say he was, he was this or that, or he was just, funny because he wanted to be this type of person or that type of person. But sometimes you just gotta let motherfucker be who they are, accept them for who they are, and that's it. And that was me. I didn't judge him for none of the shit, because I came from hard life too, so.
Being connected to Compton the way you were, or the way you are, actually, how did you feel when the murder happened in Las Vegas, and what ultimately started happening in Compton when the war broke out afterwards?
To me, I felt like basically just knowing him for the time I did, I thought it was, one of those scenarios to where you ask what you get for, He left us with this image of being this, 1 minute he could be, girls, fuck that, and stand up and empower yourselves, to one image, it was fuck the world and I'm gonna shoot you and blast on you, to one image, I'm gangbanging and I'm with Suge and the Bloods. And so to me, it was a hard road because it was some of those situations that he should have avoided, Gangbanging is going backwards, especially if you started off on a different path. Like, you didn't start here. You started in other places, Brooklyn, whatever. You didn't start here. So to go through all you went through and your end result is being killed in a drive-by, affiliation is like way beyond the aspect of because you could have been here and left a way better mark, especially when it came to the rap game. But like I said, I was one to never judge. It just, to me, I just felt like it was a fucked up situation because basically you didn't have to be in that situation.
Well, I interviewed BG Knockout.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, I know BG.
And he was best friends with Baby Lane.
Exactly. I knew Baby Lane.
You knew Baby Lane?
Exactly.
Okay.
My boy knew him real good.
Really?
Real good.
A lot of stories have come out and so forth, but the general story was that, there was a conspiracy theory that Suge had Tupac killed,
Exactly.
which I thought was always stupid.
Exactly.
I never believed it because there were shots all over that damn car.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And so forth. But the story that I believe, and everyone I've talked to has really confirmed this, was that, Tupac was killed gangbanging, essentially. He went and assaulted a known gang member who had a history of shooting at people.
Exactly.
And then right afterwards, a drive-by happened. With the people that he just, that he was just gangbanging on, essentially. You know what I'm saying? And there was actually a documentary that came out recently. Did you see it?
I heard about it. Yeah, I heard it. My boy from New York called me about it.
Right. I know the guys. I actually interviewed the guys, Greg Kading and all these, and some of the other police officers around that, as well as BG Knockout about this, where Keefe D actually, Keefe.
Yeah.
And Keefe D actually testified on tape about the actual events of the shooting, and basically said that the shooting was a retaliation over what had just happened.
Exactly.
And he named everyone in the car, including Orlando, and said that Orlando was the one that actually did.
Exactly. I've heard about the documentary. Yeah. I mean, the streets talk. Eventually, the streets talk, and like I said, it was basically a situation Pac shouldn't have been in. Like you said, it's gangbanging or whatever people want to say. But when it boils down to it, they say, you had the Bloods and you had the Crips. And everybody knew about the incident that happened with the chain and the mall and all that. Yeah. So my thing about that is like, you have to really tread lightly when it comes to gang banging, affiliation, and who you fucking with. Because you might be trying to prove a point to the dudes you around, but you never have any idea who the fuck you fucking with. And you don't know if this dude done killed 50 motherfuckers or nobody. So by him not being from Compton and knowing the foundations of these real dudes, he kind of stepped into a world that he wasn't going to probably be able to get out of. Because once you start that and you get the dissing and you get the claiming, hey, I'm a Blood, I'm a Crip, and you start affiliating yourself, then people going to take that down to history. Now you stepping into a world that ain't got shit to do with fancy chains, $1 million, and hotel suites.
Right. Yeah, because it really, when you look at the chain of events that transpired, there's absolutely no reason for Tupac to walk up to Baby Lane at all.
No, but from that, he felt like I said, he felt like he was representing. He felt like because I'm associating myself with these dudes, and I'm associating myself with the mob, and I'm yelling it on records, and fuck the rap game, and this is the mob, and MOB this, MOB that. He wanted to show them that he really wanted to be loyal to them. I mean, I get it, but it's certain things that you don't do just for, to want to belong. You know what I'm saying? Especially as a grown man, people don't accept you for who you are. If you're just a rapper, you're just a rapper. They shouldn't like you no better if you're a rapper or, hey man, now you got to put this rag in your back pocket and be what. Nobody put in his, like, you gotta do this. He wanted to belong. But like I said, at the end of the day, that costs you. Because when you enter in that world of gang banging, niggas don't give a fuck because you got a record or a gold chain on, or your name is Tupac and you've been in movies with Janet Jackson or whatever. These are the streets. These streets have been here way before rap music came along, and they gonna be here after. Just like rest in peace Tupac, rest in peace Baby Lane. They still out there gang banging. They still out there shooting and killing. And even though the homies is gone and dead and they buried or whatever, they still out there gang banging. So you have to think, especially if you didn't have to be a part of that. Some of us had to. Some of us grew up there. Yeah. So it's no choice. You either gonna belong or you gonna get fucked over. But for somebody who years down the line, like this is no choice.
Do you know Keefe D?
I know him a little from around the streets. He's from my boys' neighborhood. Okay. They from the same neighborhood.
Okay. But you don't actually, so you know him a little bit. But
yeah, exactly.
I mean, did you hear the actual audio confession?
I didn't hear it. I mean, I've been getting calls because a lot of dudes from out of other states want me to, like, hey man, have you seen this or have you heard it? How authentic is this or how real is it? And if it's coming from a dude who know what's going on, then you gotta, 90% of that is probably real.
Well, he's actually the last living person that was in that car. So, I mean, you have to take it for heed. That's how I say. You can't second guess. You have to take it for heed. And if a person is talking about what really, and he was there, and what else could he be getting out of it? You know what I'm saying? Well, I mean, what he got out of it was he was facing life in prison.
Exactly.
And he was basically, they had surveillance on him because he was running a heroin ring, a PCP ring. And in exchange, like I got the whole story from the actual police officer, and the thing was that he was facing life in prison, and he had a chance to get out of that by giving them a bunch of information they wanted, and his testimony, his statements could not be used against him to implicate him in those crimes.
In those situations.
Yeah.
Well, that was smart. Hey, but like I said, if you got a chance to speak your story and it's not going to implicate you and you want to have a chance to tell people what really happened, maybe that's why he did it. Maybe he wanted people to really know what was the realness behind Pac, Biggie, Puffy, Baby Lane, and whatever, you know. We around Compton, we've heard it. A lot of dudes knew the real story from the beginning, so it's kind of old news. But it's fascinating to a lot of people on the outside now who didn't know what the truthness was about the situation. People just thought it was, hey, Pac kicked somebody and whatever, and they shot him or what. They never knew what was the realness about. But it's been floating around in Compton ever since it happened.
So the stories that they depicted in the movie, was that similar to the stories that you've been hearing?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, those stories been floating around even before it made the papers, even before whoever was recognized. I mean, because when you know people from certain neighborhoods and they've been there all their life, shit is just going to come to light anyway.
You know, when you talk about going backwards in terms of you're now a rich, successful person, whether it's in music or whatever else, and then you start affiliating yourself with gang banging. This is something that me and Trey D actually talked about on camera. Let me just play you a little piece here. You've seen an interesting trend recently when you see people who haven't been affiliated with gangs join gangs, affiliate themselves with gangs later on in life. You've seen that with like Lil Wayne. You've also seen it with Chris Brown.
Yes.
I don't know what the situation happened, you know, at that club with Chris Brown and Sugar, whatever, but, you know, the first thought was, okay, this sounds like it's gang related.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Just from the outside.
It did.
From the outside. You know, how do you feel, you know, as someone that's been banging since 10 years old, how do you feel when someone who's rich and successful, that's never been around gangs before, decides in their mid-20s or so forth to start affiliating themselves with gangs?